Okay, good morning, everybody. We're starting off a little late, but I'll still ensure that at least the right messages are passed through and at least you take back something from the session. So since this is an opening session, I have been given the responsibility to start off on a note which will build your further 2 days. And I'm talking about talent strategies for business transformation. We're talking about business transformation. Can we have the slides, please? Yes. So if you look at business transformation, almost everyone is talking about business transformation. And how do we ensure that as HR leaders, we drive it through our talent strategies, any industry that you want to talk about, whether it's manufacturing industry or services industry, hospitality, any industry you talk about, people actually form the core of it. And if you don't have the right talent strategies, whether you're talking about business, you're talking about the revenue model, you're talking about the go-to-market strategy, anything and everything is required and based on people and talent strategies. And we will talk about it. So firstly, let's understand what is driving business transformation. What is business transformation all about? Do we understand why are we talking about business transformation so much these days? Okay, while the slides are being put up, do you know, and I put a question to all of you, do you know how many organizations are going through transformation right now or at any point of time in these days? Would you know? Good, 95% of the organizations are going through transformations. 1/3 of the organizations are going through transformation at any given time. That means 30% of the organizations are going through business transformation at any given point of time. And it becomes a very pertinent topic to talk about. Do you know how many organizations are successful in landing with the business transformation? Lesser. Around 12%. Now, isn't it very amazing to note that 95% of the organizations are going through transformation these days. And then 12% are successfully landing. Because during the transformation process, a lot of things are getting lost. Probably the interest of people is getting lost. Probably the strategy is getting lost. And that's what we are going to talk about today. It has been sent. I have to, yeah. Anyways, it's important that I put it because then, people need to take back the messages. They may want to click pictures because while I may not be talking about any specific science, but there are certain things we do it right. Capgemini right now is going through a big transformation. There are few things that we have been able to achieve, and we've been able to achieve because of certain strategies, and I wanted to share that with you. In the meanwhile, I'll just open it up and I'll continue talking so that, we don't lose time. Wonderful. So, do you know the organizations, some of the organizations with very successful transformation? Can you think of something? We all know these organizations. Successful landing of transformation. Absolutely. Yes, they are the masters in it. They started with the whole thing, Apple and Google, but perfect. So let me give you some examples and let me explain what transformation would mean. Do you remember Netflix? What was its business initially? Absolutely, sending DVD by mail. And today, they are the largest content provider with revenue tripled, and they started streaming their content, from mailing the DVDs. That was a visioning that was required where they changed the business model in line with the times. What else can you recall? And that's called transformation. Complete shift from what they were doing to what they are doing today. You look at Microsoft, Adobe, these are very big names. And if you look at their strategy, they used to be thriving packaged software business. But they completely shifted from that to cloud-based subscription. And again, they are thriving in the business. And some of the names that you just mentioned, Amazon, we're talking about Google, all these organizations today are thriving. You may be shareholders in these organizations. What drives you to hold shares in these organizations? Because you see that they are future-looking organizations. You know the share price will go up, slow and steady, but it will go up because the leadership is transforming with the time. And that's how, as investors also, we put in our money into these organizations. So this is business transformation. If you look at why is the need of business transformation, why are we transforming business? There are multiple things which are playing. If you remember, our parents used to work in some of the private companies or government organizations, wouldn't change for 10 years, 15 years, same things were going. If you think people born in 70s and 80s have had the toughest life, from no technology to a boom of technology. We've seen it all. So if you look at it, from those days to today, what has changed? Why do we need to be so agile? Number one, you see the geopolitical situations, the environment around us. Firstly, we have become a global village. There is nothing called, only India-centric. Of course, there are markets that we are dealing with, but the approach to whole business transformation is now very global. We have geopolitical situations, we have international security concerns, war that we had never thought of. Now, what has this put into picture? It has put uncertainty, it has impacted cost of labor. There are multiple things that have happened. So you have to be really agile and transform your business in light of these things. Then we have hyper-automation, which means the customers are expecting everything round the clock. If I'm sitting on my laptop at 1 o'clock buying a sari, then I want the customer care to answer me, okay, is this material soft, it falls well or doesn't fall well? 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the night. So you see most of the websites have this little chat box, which is of course your virtual assistant, your chatbots, so hyper-automation is transforming companies into intelligent enterprises, if you see. It's no more company. These are intelligent enterprises which are looking at, how to really create a customer experience, because that's the differentiator. Maruti has stood number one. Maruti Suzuki in automotive industry, number one for years now. The competition is always for number two. Number one, nobody touches. Why? Because they have been able to create that customer differentiation through many more things. Affordability, availability of after sales, multiple things. That's what is driving business transformation today. Number three, customer needs. It's completely changing. As the market is maturing, people are becoming discerning. They are demanding. And if you're not able to create that environment for your customers, you'll be in a situation. So hyper-automation, customer differentiation, then we have geopolitical situation, the environment, larger environment around us. Then we have also Gen AI. Now, everybody talks Gen AI. Whether they know whether it's gentle AI or generative AI or generation AI, but it's Gen AI. Everybody wants to talk about it. And now it's agentic AI. It's changing the way we are looking at the business. The revenue models are changing. Thank you. Let me skip what I've already spoke about. These are the names that we can think of, the transformations. We talk about economic fluctuations, we spoke about client experience, hyper-automation, and then, of course, Gen AI, and that's what I was talking about. I'll come back to sustainability. But Gen AI is actually agentic AI. It's changing business models now. It's no more a talk of, optimizing and creating efficiency. It's about now changing revenue models, business models, and way of looking at business is completely different. Will it take away the workforce? If any HR leader thinks that, Gen AI or agentic AI will take away the workforce, no, it will not. It will change the way you think and think of jobs. So you need to start thinking now. Think of the people who will pass out of the engineering colleges 5 years hence. Will we need coding job? Think about it. Gen AI is already coding, making simple apps. How do we start thinking that what 4 years later our workforce is going to look like? How many of us are thinking? I leave you with this food for thought. Sustainability is driven today by, consumers. It's no more an ethical approach. It's a business ask. Clients, when I sit in front of clients in my client discussions, etc., they're asking. They're asking for what are the sustainable practices? What are your sustainable policies? Are you more favored towards renewable energy? Are you saving anywhere the natural resources in any form? It's an ask now. It's a business imperative. No more a new thing that you would create that you're where we are a sustainable organization. It's needed. Even employees today are asking for it. And I'll come to that. So what are the talent solutions to these challenges? Am I suddenly going to give you a jargon which you've never heard of? Probably not. I will tell you the same things that you hear, but I'll tell you how did we do it. Adaptive capability models. Do you understand the workforce of today in your organization? And are you working for the workforce of tomorrow? We all say very proudly, we have an L&D function in our organization. What is L&D function measured on? Number of hours of learning? Or how many people are taking up the jobs for the next level in the changed environment? Data-driven insights into skilling and recruitment strategies. With talent market so volatile, I don't think you can create an objective decision-making without data and insights. So you need to have the data, analytics, being able to understand the insights to be able to take objective decisions. Otherwise, it will be all subjectivity into your promotions. I like him. It's been 3 years, he hasn't been promoted. Those will be the decisions taken if you don't look at the data in the correct way. Upskilling and reskilling, I don't want to talk about it. I just said that, when we talk about upskilling and reskilling, we say very proudly we have a very engaged L&D function. And what do we track? How many people attended? How many hours of learning happened? It's not going to work anymore. Are you going to look at who are the people who are creating the modules for you and what does it cater to? Is it solving a business challenge that you're looking at? That's what we need to look at. And then, of course, within employees' intrinsic motivation. If you don't have that, you're in trouble. Because think about it. Today's generation, which is Gen Z that we keep talking about how to engage them and that it's very difficult to engage them. They have grown within the COVID times also, where there was a scarcity. Some of the businesses failed. Their parents probably were living with difficult means. They have a very conscious mind of saving things because they saw that time. Now they want, and when I look at my employee workforce, the younger one, they want, are we sustainable? I've seen the younger ones putting the lights off when they leave the room. We saw abundance. But the younger ones, assuming that all of you are around my age here in the room, but the younger ones are more conscious. And that's what employee workforce is asking for. So you have to find out the intrinsic motivation. I have few examples. One being myself, there are times I have chosen offers which paid more, but I chose the organization which had better practices. And that's what younger generation is doing that. Are you able to create that in the market? And then, of course, right leadership mindset. It flows from the top. If you're able to create the culture, it's a half battle won. Can you create a business transformation strategy without your leadership involved? Absolutely impossible. And if you have leadership which is on the coffee table and standing on a coffee machine, pata nahi yaar kya kar rahe hain log. That leadership is not going to work. The leadership has to walk the talk and otherwise take tough decisions on that. I became famous or maybe infamous for a statement of mine which I said in some of my conference, that if you have HR teams who say, I work in HR because I love working with people, it's not going to work. You must have heard it many times. Why are you in HR? Because I love working with people. Not going to work. You have to love working with people in every function, not just in HR. Do you need to be a psychologist in every function to understand the, to have the acumen of dealing with people around you? You need HR leaders who have business sense, because you're driving the business strategy through people. And if you don't have that, and if you don't hire HR with that mindset, and even if you have existing teams, change the mindset. Ask them to be business aware. Ask them what challenge are they solving. And that's very important. As I said, your talent strategy cannot be in exclusion. I'm reducing the attrition. I'm creating the SAT score. What is the business strategy? What is it that your business vying for? Are you creating a strategy to achieve that? And that's what you need to think. Skills ontology is extremely important. I again leave you with a food for thought. How many of you know what skills, do you know by numbers, what skills do I have in my organization and where is the gap? And what is the gap looking like for 2026? If you don't have that in mind, probably you're not agile enough and thinking ahead. And it's time to get there. Because agentic AI and Gen AI will also look at certain aspects where, something will be done automatically. Where is the human brain going to be used? Skill is the currency, it will always be. That's the jargon we read everywhere. If your people are not skilled to take the right level of job, and if your people are not skilling themselves for future, making themselves employable for future, the organization is going to be in trouble. And as HR leaders and business leaders, we need to ensure we think ahead and train our people. Gen AI is coming today. Our group CEO committed to the market 2 years back, 1.5 years back, that we will train 100,000 people in Gen AI. We didn't know what was the future, but we trained 100,000 people in Gen AI. So by the time Gen AI hit the market, we were ready. And that's what thinking ahead. After hitting, if you start training people, you've lost half the battle. Employee experience, as I spoke about, is very important. And we have multi-generational workforce. So you need to think, how are you catering to everyone? While I have the Gen Z crowd, and I have to take care of their requirements, I also have a crowd which is probably reaching menopause. So I launched a policy on menopause and hormone replacement therapy. Because I don't want women at that age, when they're reaching just the leadership positions, to leave us. So you have to think ahead. Think of things which are taboo. Think of things which nobody has thought of. Think of things for the generations that you're dealing with. The problems that you may be dealing with. Are you really addressing? We want diversity. We want to create policies after policies for women, because women probably lack gray matter. Why do they need to be trained more? No, they have the same gray matter as everybody else. How are you supporting them to be in the leadership positions? How are you supporting the fathers that they can support? The females and the ladies and the women in their house. That's what we need to think of. And then, of course, what is not measurable is not impactful. So when you hear in HR that, a lot of things are gray in HR, a lot of things dealt with people, emotions, not going to work. Again, if you can measure, you can create an impact. And that's very important. Some of the organizations you see, they have very innovative policies. Google, 20% time to think. Gmail and Google News was an output of 20% time given to employees to think, to innovate. If Google would not have thought that every employee takes 20% time off just to think, they wouldn't have had Gmail and Google News. And similarly for Amazon. It's a painful process of recruitment in Amazon if anybody is there. But they have a bars, they have a system where everybody goes through a certain assessment. It takes months. But they want to ensure that they don't have people leaving them after they hire them, or they don't fit in culturally. So they really get into it. Can I take 2 minutes? Because we didn't have the slides. Okay. We follow in Capgemini, get the future you want, which means future is in your hand. You drive what you want. You want to be a CFO? Okay, we'll give you a track. You want to be a CHRO? We'll give you a track. But you need to decide what you need to do. And you need to make yourself relevant and employable. We say, get the future you want. There are few things I will tell you, how do we build talent ahead of time? You must be thinking, how do you build talent ahead of time? You know, in IT industry, there's lack of talent. Thousands of engineers are graduating. But the talent that can be deployed is very, very less, very few in numbers. How do you build that talent? And everybody, Google, Accenture, Capgemini, IBM, all are vying for the same talent in the same talent pool. What do I do then? Oops, I think I'm going back, sorry. We have Tech for Positive Futures. We are targeting lower strata economic zone where kids are not getting the right opportunities. We are going to remote towns, setting up digital academies, preparing them for future so that they feel grateful from the organization that they are being trained free of cost. They, of course, join us. They give us the preference and they stay with us for long because they know that Capgemini is investing in them. One person hired from a poor family breaks the poor poverty cycle. Do you understand? So we give back to community and create our talent pool. Similarly, diverse and inclusive workforce. Like I spoke about Menopause Cafe, there are many other programs where we ensure that women stay with us. This is a talent pool where we need to really bank on. Neurodiverse. People with disability. I know everybody talks about them. What have we done about neurodiverse? Everybody wants neurodiverse people because it's the buzzword in the market. But are you honest to them? We have job coaches assigned to every single one of them because they're different. They need to understand. Managers can get exhausted dealing with neurodiverse people. So we have a job coach for managers, job coach for employees so that they succeed. It's not a number for us, oh, we hired 40 people in neurodiversity. No, it's the impact and the intention for us. We have created an employee workforce which will work. Some of the managers have come back that they are more productive than the regular workforce. Ring fence your top talent. I will not spend too much time on that because we've spoken about it, but top talent needs to be ring fenced. If you're giving 1% for your regular performance appraisal, 1% increment, 2% increment for slightly better, 3% for your top talent, that top talent will say for 2%, I'm not going to work extra. Differentiate. Know your top talent and create an environment for them to thrive. And that's extremely important. I will skip this. We spoke about it because we are running out of time. What is the key takeaway? What is a successful business transformation? As I said, employee is the heart of everything. Transformation is not something you do for employees or you do to employees. It is something which is done by employees. If you go and say in the town hall that this is what we are doing for you, no. This is what will happen and you need to buckle yourself and be ready for the ride, no. Please partner with me to drive this. This is what we want to achieve. As per a Mercer report, how many employees should be involved for a business transformation to be successful? 7%. But that 7%, to find that 7% who are truly invested in that business transformation is very difficult. My organization, if 25% of your employees are involved with you in different teams, parts, and advocating for it, you'll be successful. We spoke about few things. You may want to take a picture if you need, but these are the few things that you need to really keep in mind to drive a business transformation. These are not new words, but you have to do it with the intention by creating an impact, not as a buzzword or having that, I have an L&D function, I have a comp and ben function. It doesn't help. What is it that you're trying to achieve? You need to know in your heart. Keeping talent at core, knowing the potential of your workforce, thinking of future, knowing your business. My really urge to all of you is, please know your business, please know the business impact and create HR teams with business acumen. We are business leaders. That's all I had to share.
Thank you. Anybody who has a question for ma'am? You have a question? Oh, that's why you asked for a question.
So
Sorry, Aarti, I'll call you back here. Um, First of all, congratulations for being on the list of most influential women in HR by BW People. Thank you so much. Uh, a very quick question that you spoke briefly about women in leadership roles and special initiatives for women. What do you do for women who take a break from career because of certain reasons? And also, like, you have reached a certain place, it is very heartening to see that. How do you promote more women coming to that level? And what is it that Capgemini and you as a HR leader would do to promote it?
Diversity these days is a very controversial topic, right? With the political situation in US, but okay, I'll continue with that. We have different programs. So women who are taking a break, firstly, I think it used to be a taboo 2 years, 3 years back, 4 years back, but not anymore. If you take a break, we want you to come back. We have a program called Fair Welcome. Not just for women, even for men, because these days even men sometimes are caretakers in their family or they want to take a break. We get everyone back, whoever wants to. We give them a time to train themselves, make themselves relevant. We hire them and we put them back on the job. So we have a program called Fair Welcome. So we definitely welcome everybody who has taken a break, wants to come back. Because we are a technology organization. Technology becomes obsolete very soon. So we need to train them and quickly make them relevant. But we welcome people and we have a full-fledged program. We have really taken more than 500 women. My colleagues are sitting there. More than 500 women, back after taking a break. So that's, similar programs really help. And as I said, you can run 20,000 programs with 20,000 frilly names, excellent names, tick mark. But if you don't see the impact and sustainability and the really worth of those programs, they're not going to work. And when you say women in leadership position, it has to be a very thought-through process because you have to identify the talent at the right time when they are in the middle management. And that stands true for men as well. Sometimes people do think that, we are identifying only women, and we don't do that in Capgemini. Of course, we probably try to push more women because women kind of, culturally are nurturers, and sometimes they take a back seat that, I need to take care of this and I need to take care of that. So we try to provide extra support to women and sometimes push people to look at the right promotion numbers or, how are we looking at women and really tapping the talent at the right time, middle management, and then grow them to the right level. So there is a very structured way of looking at it. And sometimes, but this is for all the men in the room. I know sometimes you get pushed beyond your boundaries thinking that women are getting promoted because you are in a good time and you're a woman. That's not true. If you see from previous times, culturally, the rubber band was stretched this way, towards patriarchal society. So now we are stretching it other way to bring in the balance. So that stretch of the other way seems a little overwhelming, but support it. We need equality and equity, both. So when you see these initiatives being taken in the organization, take it in a positive sense. I hope there is no unconscious bias on the other side in your organization, but it's important to stretch the rubber band on the other side at this point in time. I can use this.
Good morning. Wonderful session, Aarti. It was very insightful, especially for a company like mine, which is 120 people. We do IT technologies. And for last 25 years, I have been just into technologies. But when being CEO, I see the challenges my HR faces is very unique, especially in these days when you very well mentioned that futuristic skill metrics. You need to envision that and fulfill that. But that needs, HR alone cannot do that job. So they definitely need a high collaboration with the tech team and cutting edge stuff. So the challenge I face is that bridge which has to be filled between these two pieces. Can you please guide, like, how do you guys do in such large organization?
At At this point in time, I think I have passed that stage of that challenge, but there used to be a challenge where it used to be a standard exercise of, your learning needs collection. What is your learning need? It requires an effort from both the sides. Firstly, are your business leaders and technology leaders thinking ahead? Are they agile enough to think ahead, or are they just looking at, okay, my need is 10 people in, SAP something or SAP HANA, and I'm just want to focus on that. You have to create a mindset where you know what is it that you want. And then, of course, having the right HR leaders and HR partners in place is very important, who can push you, guide you, who can tell you what framework needs to be created and what is it that I can provide to you. Because if I'm just being a bridge between the training institute and the business, I'm losing my worth. Then I'm a postman. If I'm in a technology industry, do I know what are the skills which are difficult to hire? Am I thinking ahead to train them ahead so that I'm not hiring them from the market? And again, HR is a key function to ensure that we have a build organization and not a buy organization. If we're running to market to buy the skills all the time, there's something wrong. So it's absolutely a collaboration between technology function or business function, between HR function. Firstly, I call both of them as business function because you're trying to achieve the same thing. But having the right leaders in place is very important. Who you hire to lead what position is extremely important. So I think it's the fitment of the competency. If you're thinking old mindset, it's not going to work.
The way things are changing, so fast, so dynamic, that by the time we get people trained in one technology, deep sea comes in the picture.
Yes.
So there are many such things which are varying, like overnight things come up. And we, even though we plan 80-90%, our plannings need to be revisited. So that's the fact we have to adapt.
Absolutely, because if you think ahead, it's like I told you, group CEO of ours, it's a very big risk to train 100,000 people in Gen AI when you don't even know the future of Gen AI. But he took the risk. You need to have that leadership mindset to take risk, be agile, think future. Yeah.
Thank you.
Am I audible? Check.
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
Hi.
First, thank you for the talk. It was great to see you composed as the slides came up. Thanks for your patience. It was good to see it in action as well. My question is this. You brought in the case for transformation change. In the HR space, in the people space, what's the most, and I'm saying the most, radical, courageous thing that you have either done in your organizations or you have seen being done? Something that all of us should be paying very clear, sharp attention to and learn from.
Very good question. So I think courage is where your conviction of decision is. When you know market may be going the other way and you may be questioned for your decisions. And that's what I called, a courageous decision. Multiple things. We have been very consistent with the way we treat our employees. Without naming anybody, if you see in IT industry, every day in economic times, you would see so many people laid off, so many people trained, so many bonus cycle pushed, or pay cycle, this year no payouts. You continue reading these news. Capgemini, and of course my CEO is very supportive, has always been consistent. We have treated employees as employees, not as a resource. And I think it took a lot of courage when the market was taking a very precautious approach to payouts, bonuses, etc. We ensured that we keep our promise to our people. And I think we were very worried. And I think we are known for our consistency in the market. And I think and this is just recent thing that I can talk about. The second that I can talk about is the HR transformation that we took. Especially in difficult times where IT industry was going through a lot of turmoil, we decided this is the time to go through the HR transformation, and we picked it up. When you do any transformation, it requires a bit of investment, maybe a bit more of investment. So when you're in difficult times, taking a call on HR transformation, I think it was a big thing. It has definitely paid us off, but I've had sleepless nights. And I think that courage has paid off to our organization. We've been able to take those kind of decisions. Recently I spoke about the turmoil on the diversity Anybody who belongs to a US organization or has its operations in US, you would know the pressure of how do you manage the diversity of an organization. I'm very proud to say Capgemini has taken a stance that we are what we are. We will continue to be an inclusive organization, come what may. And I think I'm very proud of that courageous decision as well. And apart from that, of course, these three are the topmost because it's taken a lot, because there is a political turmoil, there is a market industry turmoil, there is judgment being passed, and it has resulted in much more, thought process, sleepless nights, so I call them courageous decisions. But apart from that, on a daily basis, there is something that we are doing which is different, which creates an environment for our employees that they are proud of. Like for example, Mumbai and Delhi offices are completely running on renewable energy. Completely, we give back to the grid. That's something that we are very proud of. Menopause Cafe, we are very proud of. I think that's something that many people reached out to me. We address something that is really lurking in the organizations, but nobody is addressing it. So multiple things, to be honest. There is no one decision. It's a collaboration of the whole organization's leadership that this is the path we want to take. Thank you.